But I think most people, if I would have said to them, you end the weekend, you make all your picks, or close to all your 8 picks, 9 picks, and Debo and Ayuk are still on the team, most people would be like, yeah, that means they have the best team to actually try to win a championship.
Exactly.
Your best chance is with them, not without them. Now, there's a whole layer of questions we can get into a little later about, this is going to be a contract year for Debo. What happens if he doesn't get the targets? Right. There's a lot that's baked into the equation. I think just surface level, it's a win for the Niners.
It's a win-win.
I'm with you 100%. I want to start with the NBA, though. This may be a minority opinion. I felt tremendous empathy for Kevin Durant.
Why is that?
I'm watching that game last night. I just think he's a legend of the game. And I don't know how many more moments we're going to get from Kevin Durant. And one of the things that's always going to stick in my head is that, he chose to leave the Golden State Warriors, and that's fine. That's his right. But at the end of the day, a lot of people were criticizing him for leaving Steph Curry to go pair with Kyrie Irving. Just the two players in terms of reliability and consistency could not be farther apart.
Right.
And it really has ended up with being one of the suckier, if you're an NBA fan, decisions of all time. Like, he's basically been on the outside looking in at contention ever since leaving the Warriors. He had the first year where he was injured. It felt like the Nets were close. The second year, he steps on the line, and then just they implode.
Kyrie gets hurt.
Yeah, everything just implodes on him.
Next year.
He gets traded to Phoenix. I watched that Game 6 last year against Denver. It was one of the worst games of his career. I think he went scoreless in the first half, scored like less than 10 points. And then last night I'm watching him, and clearly he's up there in age, and that team is not good, and we can talk about their construction. But are we going to get another Kevin Durant playoff moment?
Well, I don't know. I mean, these playoffs right now, just overall, the landscape, it feels like it's out with the old, in with the new. It feels like we're watching the change of the guard right in front of our eyes. Oklahoma City is a game away from advancing to the second round, and they look phenomenal. And I don't even think they know what they're doing yet.
I kind of agree with you.
Chet's not even scratching the surface. Jalen Williams is running around with his head cut off. He's got so much energy. And then you got Minnesota yesterday. With the way they play defense and they're suffocating half-court defense, they're going to be a tough out. Minnesota, I don't know if they have the offensive firepower to get to the NBA Finals. Cat's really good, but he gets into foul trouble. Anthony Edwards is only 22 years old. He's a star already. The way his postgame presser went last night, the way he talks and the way he takes over. All these young teams, the New York Knicks beating Philadelphia, Indiana about to oust the Milwaukee Bucks, and I know the Milwaukee's shorthanded or whatnot, but it feels like we're watching the changing of the guard overall.
I would agree.
In the NBA. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Clippers and the Mavericks, but I'm looking at Kevin Durant, who is 35 years old. He'll be 36 by the time next season starts. And look, last night he was still efficient, man. What's crazy is he's not the typical Kevin Durant that we grew up with, but last night he hits 33 and he grabs 9 rebounds and 5 assists and 4 blocks, and you're still looking at him saying, okay, he's not the same player. Of course he's not going to be the same. He tore his Achilles, for crying out loud.
Still awesome.
The fact that he's still dropping these type of numbers, but it's their roster construction. When you add in the Bradley Beal and you ignore the point guard position, you see it all season long with Phoenix. You saw it last night.
Good point.
Getting into your offense, getting into your sets. How many times have we seen the Phoenix Suns struggle getting a decent half-court shot? And that is not, and I know a lot of people were dumping on Kevin Durant, saying, this is what you wish for when you let Steph. See, I never thought when he signed with the Golden State Warriors, I never thought he was going to retire a Warrior.
Yeah, but
I hoped he did. But I thought, okay, if he gives us 4 years, great. But I never had I was like, this is going to be a quick little deal. They'll probably move on because of money or whatnot, and that'll be that. But I never thought he was going to be a lifetime Warrior.
No, I don't think most Warrior fans thought he would, but zoom out. You went to the Nets, not the Knicks. You went to the Nets with Kyrie Irving?
Yeah, he paired up. Now, Kyrie's special, but you went to the Nets and not the Knicks.
Well, not just that. You went to the Nets.
You went to the Nets, but I get it. But I get it. He wanted to go to Brooklyn and bring them up, and you know what? For a minute, they were a pinky toe or half shoe size away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they probably win the finals that year.
Who knows?
Who knows? They probably beat Phoenix.
That team, who knows?
They probably beat Phoenix, Shasky. They were rolling.
Listen
to Kyrie Irving, though.
Well, I just feel bad because I'm watching. I believe when the day he left the Warriors, right? Even though he had the injury, I think most people are like, man, this is a top 10 player of all time. I feel like people don't talk about him that way anymore.
No, they really haven't talked about him like that since he left. But that's,
it's unfair. And the moment to me, like, and it's a still photo that's going to, or an image or a video that's going to stick in everyone's head. Ant-Man dunking, going left on Beal and dunking in KD's face. I was like, damn, Kevin Durant, when we watched him, he was one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life.
But you know what? Anthony Edwards said it after the game. And he talked, I was watching Inside the NBA, and Anthony Edwards said, I love KD. I've watched every game since I was 5 years old. I love Kevin Durant. I've watched every one of his games. I look up to him. I can't wait to play with him in the summer for the U.S. Dream Team. And KD having the same words for AD. He's like, I love everything about his game. Now, the image I have, it's kind of the way I feel about Clay, with the way fans talk about Clay. These guys giving us everything they have to win championships. Kevin Durant did not have to come back in that Toronto series.
Yeah.
He was going to be a free agent. He knew the calf strain was basically hanging on by a thread, and it turned into an Achilles injury. And I remember being in Toronto for that game at Scotiabank Arena, and Kevin Durant comes in and hits 3 threes right away, and the crowd is shook.
I mean, he did the dance in the locker or whatever, the tunnel.
I just remember watching him warm up. It was like, this is really going down. This guy's really about to go and play this game. He didn't have to.
He was on fire in the first round of that playoffs.
And it just looked wonky when he's bringing up the ball. But anyway, he tore his Achilles for this franchise. He tore his Achilles basically for a chance at history to three-peat and do something in the Bay Area that hasn't been done since the Bulls since the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
He gave his Achilles. So it does pain me when I see and this is online, but I see the online gangsters saying, oh, Kevin Durant. Oh, he was not a fun player.
That's where
Kevin Durant,
I'm with you.
He's a chump. Kevin Durant. Do we forget what 2016-17 looked like? Do we remember what the next season looked like?
Exactly.
Do we remember how deadly this team would be when they would drop 50 in a quarter or go on 18-1 runs in the blink of an eye? So the way people talk about Kevin Durant, it does bother me because he's given everything he has to this game. He's played honest basketball.
And he cares. And he clearly cares about his legacy.
Yep.
I think that he cares about just the game of basketball. And I just, again, man, I'm watching him and I'm like, damn, dude, we're watching a legend go out kind of sad. And it's like cruel. That's how sports is. It can be cruel like this.
I mean,
you don't get to have the John Elway, finger up as you're running out, winning back-to-back Super Bowls. Very few people get that. Even Michael Jordan, he had the shot on Brian Russell, whatever the heck his name was, and then he came back. And even then he came back and he was awesome, even though we've kind of misremembered his Wizard days.
But they didn't make the playoffs.
Exactly.
And Tom Brady's last game. How did that last game end?
It was not good.
How did Dan Marino's last game end?
I think they lost by 40, 50?
62-7, I believe. Or 55-7.
Yeah, whatever it was. It was bad.
It was bad. They got roasted.
And I'm watching Kevin Durant go out and I'm like, I'm seeing people celebrate it almost. I'm like, dude, this guy gave you 15 years of basketball excellence.
That's what people do.
I honestly thought, and you brought up 16-17, I thought I knew how good Kevin Durant was. And then he came here and you watched him every night. And it was like, well, Ron Adams is challenging him on defense. And the way that he would contest shots. And I know he had broke the rib or he punctured the rib or whatever that year. He was unbelievable.
Well, he was leading the league in block shots going into January. And remember we had the viral clip, Swing of a Pop, and I asked him about DPOY. And he goes, you know why they're not going to give it to me? They're haters. The media is turned against me because they felt like I ruined the NBA. Because he used his right as a free agent to say, you know what? I want to maximize my skill set in the game of basketball. I think Steve Kerr and company can maximize my skills. And they did. And watching him, I see tweets about him. Oh, man, it was unfun with Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors. And I sit there and I think, well, I went to most of those home games at Oracle Arena because I didn't want to miss something. Because with the Kevin Durant, with the Steph Curry, with the Klay Thompson, with the Draymond Green, you don't know what you're going to miss.
No,
you're going to see something special.
Yeah.
And these guys put on a performance. The shot-making ability of Kevin Durant, he made it look so easy. The mid-range, the handles, defensively, pulling up from three. When it was Steph and KD in game one of that Spurs series, when Kawhi went out with the ankle injury, and I know they were up 23, but the Warriors still had to come back. And how KD and Steph say, we're going to run high ball screens between us, 1-3 pick and roll, and let's get back into the game. And it was like, this is insane, the shot-making ability of these two guys. And this goes back This is the same guy I saw in Texas as a freshman. I'm thinking, I've never seen this before. Yeah. Who is this guy? He's an alien.
And like, I don't want to bring it back to LeBron, but I look at LeBron and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, and again, just go back like 6-7 years ago. It was those three above everyone.
But times change.
I know.
Times change. This is the NBA.
I know.
It's Jokic's league right now.
Well,
but next is Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards, Shea.
Luka. Kyrie was putting on the show yesterday. That was Kyrie's game.
How about you? I mean, he's not of the level of these other guys, but Jalen Brunson, I mean, I know. I like him more than most because I love what he represents.
What? That was an all-time game yesterday.
I mean, come on.
That was an all-time game yesterday.
And B is playing with varieties of serious medical conditions, okay? And he's giving everything he's got. No, this league is out of control right now.
It's tough to rip Embiid, too. Like, I'm seeing people rip Embiid saying he's disappointed because he called out the fan. He basically said, look, man, I'm disappointed. We're a great sports town. But I'm hearing all these Knicks fans in our building, and they got to have a game to even up the series, and Embiid's giving you everything that he has.
Come on.
He's worn out by the fourth quarter. It's tough. He can't even jump. He can't move. He's still giving you monster double-doubles. But it is a changing of the guard in the NBA. And when I watch these young teams with the Golden State Warriors, and Warrior fans are sitting there saying, oh, we're just one move away. Are you?
No.
You see that Minnesota team?
Bonte, you and I agree we're multiple moves away from being in the middle of the West.
I mean, gosh.
The middle of the West. B, I'm watching Anthony Edwards last night, and you've been at probably the first to the trough of the Anthony Edwards, holy water. He's the closest thing that I remember in terms of athleticism to 1980s Jordan.
Wow.
And the way, again, look, we could argue, Tracy McGrady had a moment in time.
You're not wrong.
And like, the thing with me is, I remember coming out pre-draft, there were questions about his work ethic. Yeah. There were questions about his love of the game. Yeah. Remember he had like the rap thing and people were like, I don't know about him. Remember that he had that interview in the car?
Yep.
And boy, they cannot be farther from the truth. I mean, whether he's matured or whatever, the element of his game that I think has come along so much faster than I ever thought it would, the mid-range turnaround Jordan fadeaway, and then the walk-into three-point shot that he has. He had a couple in the fourth quarter at the top of the key from the left side, the right side. I mean,
he scored 31 alone in the second half.
Watch it.
Shasky scored 31.
We're watching, like, in a league of freak athletes. Right. He might be the best.
I mean, listen.
Just athlete.
We're talking about his offense, 31 of 40 of his points in the second half. Shasky last night in a game where they're like, we need to end this to get rest for the Denver Nuggets because that's going to be a monster second-round series. If the Nuggets get past the Lakers. Now, I am concerned about Jamal Murray. If he doesn't play.
This Jamal Murray injury is big.
It does concern me. It does concern me. The front-running Lakers could get back into the series, and that would drive me crazy. But we'll see what happens. That game's tonight, right? Quick turnaround. That game's tonight. Boy, that favors the Lakers. That favors the Lakers. Well, they've been leading the series for the most part, but they're down 3-1. But
Jared Vanderbilt returning tonight.
Oh, boy.
I was at the Cliffs on Friday, and a random guy came in and played with me and JP Money. We were getting a quick little 9 in, and he goes, yeah, I'm from Colorado. I go, yeah? And, we start talking, and he goes, yeah, I'm a big Denver Nugget fan. And I'm like, I hate Mike Malone. And he's like, Mike Malone's the man. Oh, he's gangster. And this and that. And I'm like, Mike, you said dynasty a little early because I'm looking around the West and I'm saying, I do better get Jamal Murray back.
I do like Mike Malone, though.
I know you do.
Real quick, back to Anthony Edwards. I think the thing that he does, and he's only 22 years old.
That's the thing.
He's only 22 years old.
His game has ascended.
I don't know.
It was a one. I know Halliburton was late. It was a one-player draft.
No, it wasn't a one-player draft.
At the top of the draft.
Yeah, it was Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
And listen. The most impressive aspect of his game to me,
what's that?
Offensively, he's got all the. He can go to the he'll dunk on your head. He'll
dribbles
pull up from
left-handed very well.
He does everything.
And he still hasn't reached the zenith.
His defensive intensity is what separates him from the Luka Doncic's and from the James Hardens.
I would agree.
He picks up 94 feet.
Yeah.
And defends. It gets into your jersey. He switches. He dives. He hustles. He blocked a shot late in the game on Devin Booker. Why is he even jumping?
Going to the rim?
He's going to the rim, and he's
God.
like, I'm going to contest this shot.
Yes.
He is the best as a 22-year-old. I think he's the best two-way player in the NBA right now. Wow. I don't even know who's close.
Just the way he approaches the game, that's the Jordan feel I get.
I don't.
You
know
what I'm talking about? The moxie
exactly.
and like I'm going to
because when Jordan in '87 got the DPOI, he was scoring champ. You see, like this guy plays defense at the highest and highest levels. And I think he's going to get an all-defensive team berth one day in his career. But I think as a two-way player, Who would even be close as a two-way player to Anthony Edwards right now?
Wemby.
Wemby's a good one. Wemby's a good one.
But I don't think
Wemby's a good one.
Wemby's like a year or two away, right?
But no, Wemby's there. That's a good one.
You know what I mean? Like Wemby's
That's a good one.
It's the only one I could think of.
That's a good one.
But B, I'm watching the team that they've built around him. Like even weak, I hate saying this, slow-mo fits perfectly with Ant-Man.
He does.
You know, Nas Reed fits perfectly. I'm watching Karl Anthony Towns, and he was bombing early.
Right.
He's getting the ball deep in the block because you have to have all of the ball pressure on Anthony Edwards. And I'm watching Beal and Booker take turns getting cooked by Anthony Edwards. And they were afraid to play up on him because he's blowing right by them.
So Warrior fans, especially the ones online, you keep throwing out names to come play with the Golden State Warriors. And there was a name that was thrown out with the Golden State Warriors for about 6 straight years, maybe 5. But I got tired of it because I just didn't see the fit. And that's Bradley Beal. That is Bradley Beal. And I think Warrior fans are having a come to Jesus moment saying, what were we thinking about? Bradley Beal's a score-first guard who's undersized as a scoring guard. He's undersized, plays no defense, needs the ball in his hands, which would have taken away shots from Steph and Clay and Draymond, whoever else you would have traded for Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal played this overrated, underrated game. Good player, but a bit overrated for what the hype was when it came to Bradley Beal.
When I think of this series, I'm going to think of Neck Strain, as in his new nickname, because he turns his neck to look for someone to blame as he gets blown by.
Oh my God!
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong.
How many assignments?
Don't miss that break,
how many assignments at the top of the key where there was a high pick and roll, and him and Booker just blew them?
And then he shows up, Frank Vogel, by not shaking his head. Like, come on, Bradley.
I've always been a Vogel guy. I like Vogel more than the average person. Show a little respect.
I do like Vogel. Too.
I like Vogel better than most.
Him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
A little bit.
No one's saying he's Phil Jackson, but he's better than some. You know.
We're
hitting the break. I had to just eject.